Hi all, welcome to today's session on inhibitors of translation. So in our previous videos, we have learned about the translation process, that is the process of protein synthesis, and also we have learned about the post-translational modifications that takes place in the protein after its synthesis. We are going to learn about the inhibitors of protein synthesis. So inhibitors are substance that stops or slows the growth or proliferation of cells by disrupting the process that lead directly to the generation of new proteins. So these inhibitors can be categorized into two groups: antibiotics or therapeutic drugs and toxins. So these are the few common antibiotics which act as inhibitors of protein synthesis. We'll be seeing the mechanism of each group individually. So the first group of antibiotics are the tetracyclines. These tetracyclines inhibit the protein synthesis by binding to the 30S subunit of the ribosome. So they block the attachment of the tRNA to the A site. That is, the amino acyl tRNA cannot attach to the A site on the ribosome, which means no more new amino acids can be added to the peptide chain. So this leads in termination of the peptide chain elongation. So these tetracyclines can inhibit the protein synthesis in bacteria, and thus they can stop the growth of the bacteria. Hence, they are used for the treatment of infections such as septicemia, endocarditis, meningitis, etc. The next group of antibiotics are the aminoglycosides. So these aminoglycosides interfere with the initiation complex. They bind to the 30th subunit of the ribosome and they cause misreading of the codons present in the mRNA. And they are also capable of breaking the polysomes into monosomes. The next group of antibiotics is the macrolides. So these macrolides block the translocation step in the protein synthesis. So they actually bind to the 50S subunit of the ribosome and it inhibits the translocation of the ribosomes on the mRNA. So when the mRNA is not able to translocate, that means the deacylated tRNA will not move to the exit site and the tRNA still remain in the P and A site, which means the new incoming amino acid tRNA cannot bind to the A site. So the peptide chain elongation stops prematurely. The next group of the antibiotic is the cyclohexamide. So cyclohexamide is a common antibiotic which is used even in laboratory as an inhibiting agent for protein synthesis. Cyclohexamide inhibits the elongation factor 2, so which mediates the translocation step. So it inhibits the elongation phase of the protein synthesis. And the next is the puromycin. So puromycins are structural analogs of amino acyl tRNA. That is, their structure is similar to that of the amino acyl tRNA. Hence, they can easily bind to the A site. But puromycins cannot involve themselves in peptide bond formation. So there will not be any peptide bond formation between the amino acids present in the A and the P site. Hence, there is no more chain elongation and there is premature termination of the protein synthesis. The next one is the chloramphenicol. So chloramphenicol binds to the 50th subunit of the ribosome and it prevents the binding of amino acid end of the amino acid tRNA to the acceptor site. That is, the tRNA cannot bind to the A site. So this inhibits interaction between the peptidyl transferase and its amino acid substrate. And it can also inhibit the protein synthesis in mitochondria. The next group of antibiotics are the neomycins. So neomycins prevents the ribosome assembly. That is, during the initiation phase, the mRNA binds to the 30th subunit and the initiation takes place and then the 50th subunit comes and binds, and after this the protein synthesis moves on to the next phase, that is the elongation phase. So neomycin is capable of inhibiting the binding of the 50th subunit to the 30th subunit. So it can inhibit protein synthesis at the initiation step itself. The next group is the clindamycin and linomycins. So these inhibit the peptidyl transferase step during the elongation phase by binding to the 50th subunit. So this is the mechanism of all the antibiotics, how they are going to inhibit the protein synthesis process. The next group of inhibitors are the toxins. We have the example of diphtheria toxin and resin. So diphtheria toxin causes ribosylation of the elongation factor 2. The elongation factor 2 we know mediates the translocation step. So ribosylation inactivates the elongation factor 2, which means translocation cannot take place. That means new incoming amino acid tRNAs cannot be added and the peptide chain elongation is terminated. And the next example is the resin. So resins are ribosome inactivating proteins. They irrevocably damage the ribosomes that carry out protein synthesis in cells. Thank you for watching.